Before we start this video, if you're suffering from any mental health issues, please reach out to someone, or even reach out to me through my Discord. I'm always willing to listen and give some advice also. As someone who also suffers from depression, I know the value of just having someone to talk to. And with that being said, let's start the video. Also, I'm sorry for my voice. Me and my kids are really sick, and I got hit the hardest, thank goodness though. So as some of y'all know, I've been checking out games from Game Pass. And when I seen that they had Hellblade on there, I knew I had to try it out. To be honest, I didn't know what to expect from this game. I heard a couple things about this game when it first came out, but I never got a chance to try it out. So I went into it blind, and all I could say was wow. From the moment I loaded this game up, you can feel the heaviness of what she's going through. Now, I'm going to stay as spoiler free as possible because I really viewed this game as art instead of just a game, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Let's talk about the story. You're on the quest to Helheim to meet the god of death to revive your husband. You walk around with his head and can hear him breathe and talk to you. Your main character suffers from psychosis and hears other voices throughout your playthrough. These voices will taunt you and also help you during fights. Some of them will shout out, watch out, or look out behind you when an enemy is getting ready to attack you when you can't see them. The journey you embark on is a very deep one, and during your time you will notice her mental health degrading. The game does a great job making you feel the heaviness that Senua is going through, and with her having a curse that spreads up your arms all the way to your brain when you die. Oh, plus this game has a permadeath when the curse hits your brain. But it brings a sense of making sure that you try to survive every encounter that you face. The game is actually fairly easy for the most part though. Now, there were some parts later in the game that will test you, but overall it's not a hard game. During my playthrough, I never died, so I can't tell you how the death is though. Let's talk about the world. Honestly, the world was great, and filled with dead bodies all around. Or sometimes the game will take you to a dark, spooky forest. I really don't want to spoil anything because the locations this game takes you are very good looking and gives you that sense of dread around the corner. The world is also filled with puzzles that you need to solve and advance to the next place or the boss. But I really love the world and the overall feel of it, and it really helps that the graphics are really good and makes every place have its own feel to it. Let's talk about the combat. Combat in this game is just your usual dodge, basic attack, heavy attack, block, and when you hold the run button you can also do this dash attack. But when you mix them up, they can make for some pretty satisfying combat moments. One thing I really loved was how responsive the controls were. Like, if I swing my sword, I can cancel the attack and do a dodge right in time and go back to attacking, or when I dodge and go straight into a run attack. They also give you this mirror that lets you slow down time and be able to get more hits in. And I can't tell you how many times it saved me in a tight spot. The enemies you encounter range from a light attacker with a sword, a heavy attacker with an axe and shield, and some other ones that I don't want to spoil for you. The best fights though were with the bosses you encounter. They were the only ones that really have a different mechanics, and some of them were a little tough. Now, the variety of enemies is okay and all, but I guess this brings me to everybody's favorite part. Let's talk about the cons. Now, I only have two real complaints. So as I mentioned, the game does have an okay variety, but I do wish there was more. Seeing the same 4 types of enemies gets old very quick. And during my playthrough, the only interesting fights were the boss fights, and this part that was later on in the game. After a while, you know all the patterns of the monsters you fight, and it made the game way easier than it was. My second complaint is the puzzles. There is way too many puzzles, especially at this one part later in the game. It really made the game come to a halt. And just like with any game that throws puzzle after puzzle at you, it really made the game drag on and lose my interest. I highly recommend this game to people. Now, it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but the overall art style and the story were interesting enough to keep me engaged. With nice locations and a decent combat system, I give Hellblade a 8 out of 10. This game was very different from anything I've played, and I was able to relate to the struggle she was going through. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of the game. Did you like it? Did you hate it? And join my Discord. Even if it's just a talk, I'll try to respond as quick as I can. But I'm also a single full-time father of 4, so my hands are full at times. Thank you guys, and make sure you hit that like and sub button. It really helps the channel out. We're on the road to 1K, guys. Let's do this.